In 2024, my productivity was completely shattered. I couldn't sit and focus for more than 10 minutes at a time. I would open my laptop to get work done, but 5 minutes in, I was scrolling through Instagram, then Twitter, then YouTube. It wasn't just a bad habit, it was an addiction. And the worst part, I knew it. I knew that I was wasting hours every single day. But I couldn't stop. I kept telling myself I'd do better tomorrow, that I'd be disciplined. But tomorrow looked just like today, lost in an endless loop of dopamine hits. This is the story of how I broke that cycle, how I took back control, and how I rebuilt my ability to focus deeply again. Back then, my best days were still filled with distractions. At most, I could work for 2 to 4 focused hours, and even that was broken by constant tab switching, aimless browsing, and just one more scroll kind of thinking. It wasn't that I didn't care, I deeply wanted to do better, to create more, to be present. But my environment was designed to pull me away from that. I'd open one tab for work, then check notifications, and 20 minutes would vanish before I noticed. I wasn't lazy, I was just living inside a system built for distraction. And like most people, I thought this was just the new normal. It felt like I was on a treadmill I didn't sign up for. Scroll, dopamine, regret, repeat. Every morning I'd promise myself today would be different, but I'd fall into the same loop. And every evening I'd feel defeated. There was this constant tension in my mind, like I was being pulled in 5 directions at once. The reels I watched weren't funny anymore. They were numbing agents, a way to avoid doing the hard work, and that avoidance, it added up. Day after day, I was losing my edge, losing time and slowly losing myself. Slowly. Somewhere in the middle of that chaos and something shifted. Over the last 6 to 12 months, I started making small changes. Not dramatic ones, but subtle things, systems that gave me back control. I started asking, what if I could redesign my environment to serve my focus instead of sabotage it? What if this wasn't about motivation or hustle or discipline, but about removing friction? That mindset changed everything. Because the truth is, you don't need to be superhuman to focus. You just need to stop trying to win a game that's rigged against you. And once I changed the game, everything started clicking. The single biggest decision I made was this. I deleted all social media apps from my phone. No more Instagram, no more Twitter, no more YouTube app. It sounds simple, and maybe even extreme, but it was a game changer. Without those apps constantly accessible in my pocket, my mind started to clear. My hands stopped reaching for my phone automatically. I stopped using my downtime to consume noise. And slowly, that quiet created space for boredom, for thoughts, for clarity. If you want to rebuild your focus, you don't just need fewer distractions, you need fewer gateways to distraction. This one's almost laughably simple, but incredibly effective. I started keeping my phone upside down with all notifications turned off. That's it. Just flipping it over. Why does this work? Because it breaks the visual trigger. I don't see the glowing screen. I don't see the blinking notifications. And my brain doesn't get that itch to check. Out of sight, out of mind. That small physical act created a boundary. It told my brain, this moment is for work, not scrolling. It might seem small, but focus is built on small habits that protect your attention again and again. Next, I made a hard decision. I quit YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels completely. These weren't just distracting, they were hijacking my brain. Short-form content is engineered for addiction. You don't just watch one, you watch 10, then 30. Then an hour's gone. The scary part? You don't even enjoy it. You're just stuck in a loop. Once I stopped watching, I realized how much mental clarity I was gaining back. I wasn't filling every empty second with noise. And from that stillness, focus started to return. If you feel like you can't concentrate anymore, check your scroll habits. They might be stealing your potential. Once I removed those distractions, something incredible happened. When I worked, I actually worked. There was no background urge to check something, no little pull to escape. It was just quiet. Deep, undisturbed work started to happen. I began finishing tasks faster. My sessions became longer. And I stopped feeling that anxious need to multitask. The myth is that we need more discipline to focus. But the truth is, we need fewer decisions, fewer pings, fewer friction points. Once I removed the triggers, I didn't need superhuman willpower. I just needed space, and I gave myself that. I used to believe that I only got good ideas in the shower. Turns out, I just needed silence. Once I stopped flooding my brain with content, creativity started to come back. I started thinking more clearly. I could connect dots again. I began journaling, reflecting, making things. That creative part of me that felt buried under noise, it started breathing again. We think boredom is bad, but boredom is actually a signal. It's your mind preparing to make something. So instead of killing boredom with scrolling, I began listening to it, and that changed everything. The last and most unexpected benefit. I started connecting with people again, real people. I stopped pulling out my phone in elevators or checkout lines. And suddenly, I was present. I talked to the barista. I smiled at strangers. I noticed things I'd been missing for years. It wasn't dramatic, just human. And honestly, that's what we're starving for in this hyper-connected world. Not more noise, not more content, just real connection. Without social media always in my hand, I rediscovered the joy of simply being here. And that feeling, it's worth everything I gave up. These are the mistakes and benefits that changed who I was in 2024 compared to who I am in 2025. If you don't like my suggestions, there are still many other strategies that might work for you. Moreover, what I've mentioned is just the tip of the iceberg. You deserve better than just lying in bed or scrolling through social media. I made the change, and so can you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you're on your own journey. Let's grow together. See you in the next one.